Cause and effect essay. Today I'm talking about the cause and effect essay and particularly the body paragraph format. As announced before to all prep year students, you are required to write a cause and effect essay in your final essay or a problem solution essay. Today I'm going to focus on the cause and effect essay and particularly the body paragraph. What to write in a body paragraph for a cause and effect essay. As you can see in this slide, the cause body paragraph consists of some elements: the topic sentence, the supporting evidence, the analysis, and the conclusion. In order to have a correct academic body paragraph, you need to start with a topic sentence. Now, what's a topic sentence? A topic sentence is usually a sentence that comes at the very beginning of your body paragraph. This sentence is really important because it contains the main idea of your essay. For example, you cannot start a body paragraph without a topic sentence. Then you follow with the supporting evidence. The supporting evidence here is also a very important part of any body paragraph because it shows the readers the sources you used in your academic essay. For example, you cannot have a body paragraph without referring to sources or in-text citations. This would not be academic. So you need the sources to quote, to paraphrase, or to summarize. So you start with a topic sentence followed by the supporting evidence. The supporting evidence, as I said before, are the parts that you either quote or paraphrase or summarize from your sources. Then is it enough to quote and leave your quotation without any kind of comment on it, or is it enough to summarize a part of an article or paraphrase a part of an article or summarize a part of a chapter without telling the reader why you chose this part in particular? No, it's not. So the important thing when you choose your support, you know how to analyze it, how to explain to the reader the significance of that evidence, why you chose that evidence in particular, and how does it respond or support your thesis statement that was mentioned in the introduction paragraph. Then, after you summarize, quote, or paraphrase a source, as I said, you need to explain your summary or your paraphrase or your quotation and comment on it and show how it supports the main idea of your paragraph, which is your topic sentence. Then the last part of any body paragraph is the conclusion part, in which you conclude the paragraph. You do not leave the paragraph opened, you just conclude the paragraph. You provide the reader with an overview of the idea discussed in the paragraph, as if you are summing up very briefly what you already discussed in the paragraph. This is what we call the concluding sentence in any body paragraph. In any sample body paragraph, you will find the following. You will find a topic sentence, supporting evidence, analysis, and the conclusion of the paragraph. The words written in white, the increase in population levels caused an industrial revolution to emerge in order to satisfy the needs of people both economically and socially, is the topic sentence for that paragraph. We are talking about the causes of the Industrial Revolution. One of the causes of the Industrial Revolution, according to this, is the increase in the population levels. So you need to start with a topic sentence that has a main or a controlling idea. Then what comes next is the supporting evidence. The supporting evidence is the evidence that you choose as a researcher to explain the main idea or the controlling idea of that paragraph to your readers. The consumption rate of a growing population in developing countries and high living standards in developed ones creates markets. Therefore, factories were built and mechanical processes took place, yet environmental damages were not put into consideration. You see, here it explains why the increased level of population. What's the reason behind the increased level in population, and how did this affect the community as a whole? Patrick 2010 clarifies. Here you start the source. Here you start introducing the source to the reader. This is what we call the lead-in phrase. Patrick 2010 is the name of the author, the last name of the author of that source, and 2010 between brackets is the year of publication. Clarifies is an action verb. So in a lead-in phrase, you have the combination of the last name of the author, the year of publication, and an action verb that introduces the source. Why we need an action verb? Because it will be very redundant and boring to repeat saying according to Patrick or Patrick said all throughout. This is going to be very boring, and it does not really add to the meaning of the paragraph. While clarifies here is a very good choice because it explains what the writer wants to tell his readers. In addition, according to Yulsman 2011, here, 2018, here the writer of this paragraph is combining between two sources. Is combining between Patrick 2010 and Yulsman 2018, and this is what we call synthesis. Synthesis is when you compare and contrast different sources. So you need to know that you cannot have a body paragraph with just one source. This is what we call an integrated paragraph. You integrate a source into your paragraph, but a synthesis paragraph, a proper synthesis paragraph, is one that combines between different sources, at least two sources. So you compare and contrast two sources, just like you have it here on the slide of the sample body paragraph. In addition is a transition word. This is very, very important because it shows the relationship between the sources, between the different sources, whether they agree or they disagree, what kind of relationship between the different ideas, how it serves or it helps the argument in showing the differences and agreements. This is very important. Consequently, the percentage of greenhouse gases in the air increased due to the cutting of plants and forests that used to consume the gases and the release of toxic gases from the burning processes. This is the end of the paragraph. This is the concluding sentence. You cannot leave your paragraph open. You need to have the paragraph wrapped up, summarized, and summed up very clearly. Effect body paragraph has the same elements of a cause body paragraph. We agreed that the main idea in any body paragraph, either an effect body paragraph or a cause body paragraph or a solution body paragraph, it has to have those elements: the topic sentence, the supporting evidence, the analysis, and the conclusion. This happens to all body paragraphs, to all academic body paragraphs. So if you're going to write about the effect, you're going to, in a cause and effect essay, you're going to write about the effect in a separate paragraph. And this is what we called the block structure for the essay. The block structure for the essay is that you take the causes, all the causes that you want to discuss in one block, and you take all the effects that you want to discuss in one block, in one paragraph. This is a sample body paragraph for effects. Global warming is thought to have many effects on living beings and their habitats. Increasing natural disasters in the last 10 years in a clear evidence that global warming is not a myth. This is the topic sentence for the effect paragraph. It shows the effects of global warming on the universe, on this planet. As it is written in white, and the topic sentence, as I said before, comes at the very beginning of the body paragraph. Now, all the parts written in black at the middle of the paragraph, this is the evidence, this is the supporting evidence, and the analysis for the supporting evidence, including the in-text citations. Statistically, a full 100 increase in the strength and duration of hurricanes has occurred since the late 1970s due to the increased emission of carbon dioxide. Fournier, 2011. This is a source. This is the supporting evidence from a particular source that the author is Fournier, and it was published in 2011. You cannot leave a support or a supporting evidence without in-text citation. Part of research is to document your work, and this is a major part of any research, is documenting your work. Documentation here means, in this particular part, the in-text citation. How I cite my sources, either quoting, paraphrasing, or summarizing a source, all need in-text citations. You need to open brackets, put the author's last name and year of publication. The National Climatic Data Center approximated the damages of such hurricanes to be nearly $1 billion, which reflect consequential economic dilemmas as residuals of global warming. You see, this is the explanation of the source. You're not just paraphrasing the source, you're also commenting and explaining what the source means or the significance of that source. Furthermore is also a transition word that you really need in a synthesis paragraph. Remember that the body paragraph is mainly a synthesis paragraph. And let me remind you of what is synthesis. Synthesis is the process in which you compare and contrast ideas, you compare and contrast sources, and you kind of combine the sources in one unit, which is your paragraph. This is why synthesis is a very important process for any research work, because it shows the work of the researcher and the amount of and the number of sources that he or she read, and how they grasp the sources and how they analyze the sources. And this is what we call the analysis process. So you cannot have the sources without analyzing them. In order to have a complete synthesis, you need to analyze your sources. Then you have furthermore, which is a transition word, as I said before, Shaber 2019 adds that, you see, this is a second source in which the researcher here or the writer combines between the sources and synthesizes them. Jones 2013 is a third source. You can have more than two sources in one body paragraph. Actually, it is even preferable to have more than two sources, but you're only allowed to quote once in a paragraph. So be very careful when you use your sources. You're only allowed to quote once, but then you can, instead of quoting, you can summarize or paraphrase. The idea of synthesis is not listing sources. It is combining those sources in a process of comparison and contrast. So it's not enough to say, for example, Fournier 2011 said, Shaber 2019 said, and Jones 2013 said. This is not synthesis because it doesn't show the relationships between those different sources, whether they agree with each other, they disagree with each other. There are points of disagreement, points of agreement. This is why you need to use the transition words to show the relationships between the sources. And you also need to comment on the sources, to analyze the sources, to show us the relationship between these different sources. Accordingly, the insufficient food supplies would directly lead the organisms living on the degraded lands to migrate to other places where they can ensure sustainable levels of food. You see that? This is the conclusion of the paragraph. This is how this paragraph concludes. This is how this paragraph ends. So you need to have all the elements of the paragraph as mentioned before, the topic sentence, the supporting evidence, the analysis for that evidence, which is a very important idea here. The analysis also includes the in-text citation. You need to be very careful with in-text citation, and the conclusion. Here we come to the end of our discussion about cause and effect essay. The last slide shows you the important points to remember when you write a cause and effect essay. Remember the following. Remember using transitions, lead-in phrases, proper citations, your ideas and commentary, comparison between different sources. You need to include all these elements in your body paragraph because they are important and essential elements in any body paragraph, either a cause paragraph or an effect paragraph. These are very important ideas.